Eyes get dark. Hmm.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are here with another episode of Guided by Spirit, the holiday edition coming up. Oh, the whole month's a holiday. Um, we have a lot to talk about today. We have with my special guest host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How you doing, Pauline?
I'm very well, kind of trying to get into the holiday spirit, but otherwise, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing good, trying to navigate this energy going on, trying to figure out what's going on, navigating the holidays, planning, kind of like you, trying to get into the holiday spirit.
Yes.
And it's hard. It is really hard, but we're going to talk about all that. So we have a lot going on energetically. I don't know if you've been feeling it, but I feel like there's been walking around with like a 50-pound backpack on me. The energy's been heavy and feels like stuck in cement.
Yeah.
Um, let's get into this. Universally speaking,
Yeah.
what do you think? What's going on?
So universally speaking, what's happening is, the energy in the universe off the planet, coming off the planets, the way that it is affecting planet Earth is intensifying because, we're in a paradigm shift. We're moving from the old paradigm to the new paradigm, the old Piscean age to the Aquarian age. It's like, it's like two bodies of water, all right, two powerful bodies of water that come together and splash and hit each other, right? Which body of water is going to be able to take over the other one? So that's kind of like where we are energetically. The old body of water is still trying to hold on, and the new body of water is like, oh no, we got all this fresh new higher energy coming in. And it's creating some waves, it's creating some tsunamis, it's creating some upheavals, and it can be, for some people, very uncomfortable.
Real uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, the timelines are shifting, and that's a good thing. And when I talk about timelines, I'm talking about, you know, think of a timeline like as a ladder, right? And wherever you are on that on a rung on the ladder, that your next timeline is a step up. And so you don't want to take a step down. I mean, some people do, but most of us are trying to take a step up. And in that step up is a new and higher vibrational timeline. And that timeline usually has more of the things that we desire. And so for all of us, it's different. For some people, it's more prosperity, new jobs. For other people, it's better health. For some of us, it's relationships. So that's what we're going. And the universe is lifting us up with our approval. Those of us who are ready, who have done the work, who are doing the work, and who are truly ready to ascend up to higher timelines. And so you just don't get like a download of all these amazing, powerful energies and feel good right away. You feel like crap initially because those higher vibrations are breaking through the lower density energies, and that's going to bring up tears, insomnia, fatigue, more and more and more. I'll go on, I'll let you speak, but I'll go on with more symptoms in just a minute. Yeah.
No, I mean, I just posted something the other day and I saw something is when you're leveling up, they almost like try to tear you apart, because they're breaking a lot of the old patterns, barriers, things like that for the next, the cocoon phase.
Right.
So you kind of hit it, and
Well,
that's kind of that's what's going on.
we're always, if we're ascending and if we are evolving, we're always in a state of breaking down the old patterns and
Yes.
assimilating and integrating the new patterns. And that's a process. That is a process. It just doesn't happen like the blink of an eye. And
Yes.
so it's a process. It's like tearing down an old building structure and rebuilding a new one. It's a process. And sometimes the process can get really messy.
Yeah, I find that every time people go to level up or, they want to switch a career, they want to go in a different direction, they want to manifest and create something big, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, it almost really impacts you dramatically. For me, whenever I do, I notice business starts to slow or things that don't serve my highest and best start to disappear almost like that. And that usually means, the human side is like, oh my God, grab the handles. This is going to be a rough ride. But
Mhm.
then the spiritual self says, don't worry, we have to clear the path to
Right,
make way for the new.
right. And our
So
job,
everybody going through this, these are some signs.
they are. And our path is to follow along and to
Mhm.
get the help we need. But most importantly, I'm a big teacher of self-soothing. Being able to self-soothe, being able to manage yourself and help yourself and not freak out. So if you
Yes.
freak out, okay, get yourself some help. And if you are feeling very uncomfortable and you need an energy clearing or you need some assistance, you need to talk to somebody, get the help. But
Yeah.
but because we're on in this constant state of evolution, some of us are really on a fast path, like a fast track, if you will. We need to learn how to self-soothe, and we need to learn how to get ourselves out of where we are at and into a better place, whether it's through rest, whether it's through meditation, journaling, whatever process you use it, because you can't, no one can afford to have, like, a healer every week. Right, so we have to learn, but learning how to self-soothe in these moments of energetic upheaval is very empowering. It has been for me, because I mean, years ago, when I went through so much of this, I mean, yeah, you can't keep calling people, you can't keep saying, oh my God, I have this pain, I have that pain, I'm crying, I can't stop. Okay, understand the process and learn how to self-soothe. You will become empowered, and you'll learn a lot about yourself too. What triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, how to manage it.
So we have a question from Maribel. Hello, Maribel. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. She says, is that why people have been so angry?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it's interesting because there are some people who, and it depends on where. I think where you live, because some people are, yes, they're very angry. They've absorbed a lot of anger, okay, with what has been going on in the world. And other people have a lot of old pent-up anger that they haven't healed. So it's coming up now. And then, like, where I am, it's very interesting. People are so friendly. Everybody's like smiling and walking around and saying hello and looking at you and waving when they don't know you. So it's I guess it depends on where you live.
Yeah. And it could also be a lot of feelings and emotions coming up, and people don't know how to process it.
Well,
They
that's
don't
it.
know what to deal with it, how to deal with it, or, what to make of it. They just feel very like they're on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. And you are on an emotional roller coaster, and it's learning how to tame that roller coaster so that
Yes.
you're not freaking out. And so, we can talk a little bit about that. Listen, and we have talked about this before. Journaling, meditating,
Mhm.
going for walks in nature, writing down your emotions, writing down everything you feel, and then burning the paper, right? And so all of these different things. There's herbs you can take, ashwagandha for excess stress and emotional stress. Um, yeah.
We actually do have a caller. Let's take our call, and then we're
Okay.
going to hop into this amazing topic where we're going to be talking about narcissistic abuse, relationships, dealing with narcissists for the holidays. And that could be family, friends, coworkers. It could be many dynamics, but how to navigate this, especially during the holidays, because we just want to have fun. We want to enjoy ourselves. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts for the holidays, and how to maneuver this. So we're going to kind of discuss this, but let's take our caller.
Okay.
Hello, thank you for calling. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Barb Nickel. I've talked to you before.
Hey,
Hi,
Barb.
Barb.
Hey,
How you
um,
doing?
terrible.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I have some questions for you.
We have some answers, hopefully.
hopefully.
I hope. I've really been trying to. I had a narcissist boyfriend, and we've kind of been on and off. And I caught him 2 weeks ago kissing this married woman. He says has been just a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him that I've had it. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't seem to shake it. I just talked to him again. We have a bunch of rescue cats. He was talking about getting rid of them, and because we don't live together. And I kind of got mad. I can't get rid of some of this anger. I told him I was going to tell her husband. Now, whether that be right or wrong, I gave him a chance to stop it, even though we're done, so he doesn't ruin her family life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't seem to get by this. I mean, I think I get better, and then all this sadness and anger keeps popping up. You know, after 15 years, he could be a little more decent to me and talk to me about stuff. And I don't know what else to do to handle it. I've been to counseling, you know, I've had readings with the spirits, and it just seems like it's never going to end for me. I don't know what to do.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. I'm getting
Okay.
some things on. She needs an energy clearing, but go ahead. Like the readings and stuff like that aren't going to do it. She needs an energy clearing, but go ahead.
So, all right, Barb. So here we go. So first of all, I think emotionally he's kind of keeping you there as a convenience. You know this. I think that, and we've discussed this in a past, when you called in before. You're holding on emotionally, hoping that he's going to change. There's feelings, there's emotions there. Narcissists like to keep you hooked in. They'll say what they need to just to bait you enough, but emotionally, he is in another place. Now, whether you're willing to understand that or not and accept that, that's another story. The one big thing that will really help you move on, okay, is moving on with your life, okay? When we have nothing to kind of replace that, we don't have that attention, or where our interests are not in another place, we hold on to or grasp any form of attention, whether it's healthy, whether it's not healthy, toxic, sometimes going back and forth. I dated somebody one time, and she always liked to argue. And I don't like confrontation. I don't want to argue in a relationship. And I said to her one day, after 2.5 years, I said, why do you always want to argue? And she says, well, if you argue with me, that means you love me. And she needed, whether it was healthy, whether it was not healthy, it didn't matter. And that's kind of sometimes where we are. It's when we don't have somebody in, we don't want to get out there, we don't want to meet anybody, or we don't want to leave where we are. It's easy to always revert back. So here's what I'm saying. Cut ties, however that looks, it needs to be done, because he's reopening a wound every single time you take him back. You're going to get hurt. You know this.
Oh,
He's
he's
not
not coming
capable.
back.
Well, you say that now, right? Because narcissists have that, they always leave that back door open, or a window open to crawl through. So whether it's the cats, whether it's this, whatever it may be, but he's not going to ever give you what you need. And that's kind of one thing that we don't always understand, because they show you glimpses and you say, well, maybe he can, or he will if I do this. So start working on you. Start really getting out there and maybe meeting some people. Start socializing, whether it's on social media, having friends, getting together with people, whatever that looks like for you. Get out, change the scenery, and then all of a sudden, now you're not worried about him because you're having your time occupied. Your thoughts are going somewhere else and you're doing things for you. And then he doesn't have that control or manipulation over you. What do you think, Pauline?
Well, the narcissist is very good at keeping their hooks in and keeping their cords attached to you, even though you've gone no contact or you say it's over. The narcissist knows that the cords are still attached to you. And so your job is to like remove his hooks out of you, remove his cords. So you do need an energy clearing. You might need like somebody to help you cut the energy cords to truly detach his energy from you, because all that sadness that you feel and the pain that you feel, you can be very easily pulled back in as long as his cords are attached to you. So they are, I can see them, they're still attached. And you've got to be strong, and you've got to not need him for anything. Not want him for anything and not need him for anything. And get to the point where you're actually disgusted and you dislike him and you know that you don't need him.
Well, I do pretty much a lot of stuff on myself now. I did start doing things for myself because he just doesn't do them for me. And I do think I'm moving ahead a little bit, but it just seems like, and I hate to be vindictive, but I do feel her husband needs to know, whether that be right or wrong. But I gave him a chance to stop it because he's going to ruin her family's life too, and I don't want to see that happen either. But I guess that's not up to me. It's up to the universe to decide that. But I'll try to do this energy clearing. You tell me you think he still has his hooks in me. You see that?
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah. Oh, Richard and I are both like,
Like a bobblehead. Yes, yes, yes. And here's a little thing, okay? Wayne Dyer always said, how somebody acts is their karma. How we react is our karma. Okay. So I will tell you, if you feel like you want to tell the husband, in some ways, I'm almost positive he has some kind of indicator. She's acting different on some level. He may find out, or maybe already knows on some level. If you want to do that, that is your choice. I'm not going to say either way, but he definitely has his hooks in. Why? And here's where the hooks show up. In those moments where we're lonely, when it's quiet, at nighttime, when you need things done, it comes out as, what's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? That anger, frustration, that's how it comes out, right? That
Yeah.
bitterness. And not saying you are, Barb, but that's usually how it presents itself. And that's when we know that they have the hooks in us, because the hooks are indicators of our feelings and emotions, right? So when you're triggered on some level, there's so many cats, I can't even afford to take care of them. Why did he rescue so many? That's a trigger, right? That's a trigger. The
Yeah.
cats needed homes. You could always rehome them. Find a great rescue that will take them, a non-kill shelter, or a rescue where they'll be able to put in the right hands, right? So that can easily be done. So when we look at this, we always create obstacles, and then it's usually followed by a feeling of anger, frustration, loneliness, sadness, self-worth, fear, things like that. And those are hooks, like Pauline said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you get
Yeah, I
frustrated,
can see that.
yeah, every time you get frustrated, Barb, say, I don't need him. I don't need him. I don't like him. I don't want him. I'm moving beyond him. And yeah, you can figure out how to do things yourself. Maybe there's other people around you that can help. Ask the universe, okay, to help you. And you have to get to the point where you really just don't like this person. And that will be, and those hooks in you will dissolve.
I'm going to tell you, Barb,
Good.
exactly what Pauline said, but just know too, he will never change his tone.
Right.
He will never, narcissists need that attention. They need to feel wanted, desired. They need to have multiple people or things. Why? Because it feeds their ego. They're ego driven. Okay. The ego is in the driver's side of the car, and the compassion and the empathy is trailing along behind, on a rope. It's just the way it is. It's not even in the vehicle. So he's never capable, and he's going to string you along, and he needs you more than you need him. Just remember that.
Great point.
Just remember that,
Okay.
Barb. He needs you more than you need him.
Great.
You have a lot to offer. And the world is ready for you, and it could mean just meeting certain people and meeting people through other people, or go online, social media, get on some Facebook groups, start meeting people, get out there, occupy your time. Nothing helps you get over the last one like the next one.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but that's true sometimes. Put something else in the place, because that's where the loneliness is, where we get caught up.
So,
Yeah. Well,
what
thank you.
I'm going to suggest to you, Barb, is, I always feel the hooks are hooked into our chakras. And so if I don't know how much you can see here, but if you start like this, you pull his cord out of your head and send it back to him, and just keep saying, I don't need you anymore. Take the hook out of the crown, throw it back to him. Take the hook out of the throat, give it back to him. Pull his energy cord out of your heart, give it back to him. Pull it out of your solar plexus, pull it out of your abdomen area, pull it out of your root area. Just pull out, just pretend like there's a cord hooked into you, and just pull it out and send it back to him. Try that.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah,
a
I
good
can see the
visualization too is Archangel Michael, a vision. It visualized the hooks, like Pauline said too, if you need kind of a little different, is see him taking his sword and cutting those hooks,
Yeah.
cutting the ropes or the strings, and see them kind of like flinging out. Archangel Michael is great for cutting the cords. See those, the sword just cutting. There you go.
Okay.
Like butcher twine, just like that,
Yeah. I will try all this.
and keep occupied. Remember, a lot of times it's this that gets us stuck. Paralysis through analysis. The more we think about it, we get stuck. We spin our wheels. And then that's when we want that comfort. It's not him you want. It's having somebody there. That's all it is. It's not him.
Okay.
And that's speaking
Well,
from
thank you so
experience.
much.
Yeah.
Is it?
So,
Okay.
Barb, lots of love, especially during the holidays. Thank you for always
Yeah.
calling. Call us back. We love having you on.
Okay. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Barb.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was a great call, because I think more people stay in these relationships longer than what they need to. And Marivelle actually made a really great comment. Thank you, Marivelle. She said, they don't want to see you moving on. When they do, that's when they pull you back. And again, that's the hooks you talked about.
Yes.
Those energetic cords.
Yes. Yes. So I agree. So do we need to clean up anything else with universally speaking, in terms of this heavy energy and all of the symptoms that we can be experiencing? from headache to fatigue to being unmotivated to ear ringing, insomnia, aches and pains, um, to emotionally frustrated, angry, whatever, sad, whatever, a lot of sadness. Um, just, just, self-soothe and take care of yourself. This too shall pass. And if you need an energy clearing, you find an energy healer. Or join an energy group. I do online group energy clearings and healings. So something to help you release this pent up energy, because once it's gone, you're going to feel great.
Yeah, one of the big things, and I felt a lot of those, especially during this phase of the energy or the Mercury retrograde and all the planetary stuff going on. One of the things I've really tried to do is I took a moment to understand, what am I experiencing? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling anxious? Is it a me thing? Is it, something going on, something specific? Have an understanding if you can, and then raise your vibration. A lot of times we go the opposite way when we're feeling these. We sit, we self-isolate, we become a nomad. We sit on the couch with the lights off and a comforter, even though that's not bad. But raise your vibration a little too. Get some cleansing, ground, things like that. Go get a Reiki session, go get a healing session, self-care, massage, things like that, but raise your vibration,
Yeah. Even a cleansing bath, an Epsom salt bath with essential oils.
Yeah. I went the other night at around 9 o'clock over by me. They have all lit up. This Hers potato chip factory does this. They decorate it. It's absolutely amazing. People from all over the state go. And I just drove through several times with Christmas music on. And, things like that just really feed your soul. So when the universe wants to take you down, give yourself, go high. Go to the top floor of the elevator. I mean, it's just it's that simple, but it's so hard when you're in it.
Yeah. And just know that this will pass.
Yes.
And get help. Okay.
So we're talking about narcissism, and dealing with it for the holidays. And Pauline, do you want to start of like, what would this look like? Or I can start of, what is narcissism or narcissistic relationships or abuse look like in the holidays? Let's talk. You want to start in the workplace?
So sure. I mean, and the workplace can be, any day of the year. But the narcissism in the workplace, and we also do have to talk about what to do if you're a parent and you have a narcissistic child. That was a question from one of my clients, and she wanted us to talk about that. So narcissism in the workplace, you have bosses or a boss that are constantly criticizing your work, constantly challenging you, constantly doing things without your cooperation or without your participation, when in fact you should be involved in that project, but they're just doing it all on their own. The narcissistic boss or a coworker is going to try to put you down, is going to try to make your life more difficult. And they are the ones who want the accolades. I did the job. I got it done. I did it the best. And they don't even really say it. It's more of a behavior that they do. And you feel like you're being pushed out of the box of where you should be. And so that is a very real situation, narcissism in the workplace. And it's a tough one, because when you're trying to improve yourself and you're trying to do a good job for a company that you like, and you like your job, but you've always got somebody kind of batting you down or pushing you out, it takes a certain amount of skill, because it's not a family member that you can go scream at. Now it's a coworker or a boss, and now you have to try to maintain some some level of sanity and some level of a communication that is appropriate while your emotions are bubbling up like an inferno.
Yeah. That's interesting. I work with a lot of people that deal with this specifically. First thing is when you have a boss or peers, it will also come out as too is where your coworkers will, even though you've put time off or you're looking to take time off, they'll take a PTO day, even though you have something planned. They'll undermine, they'll leave early, put all the workload on you. They'll talk about themselves, even though, they don't ask you about you. It's all about them. First thing is have boundaries. You don't have to engage in these conversations if you choose not to. From your boss, remember, don't take it personal. If you know you're doing a good job and they're just tearing you apart, one, you can take the bait and feed into it and feel all insecure and you feel emotional and things like that. I thought I was doing a good job. Well, you are doing a good job, but they need to find something negative always to kind of bring you down so that they always feel superior to you. Remember, don't take the bait. Don't do it. You don't have to, right? Sure,
And
I'll take a note of that. Thank you for making me aware. I'll
yeah,
pay attention more. Thank you.
well,
I'll take a look at that. I'll examine that,
mhm,
and then they're going to say, well, I'm telling you. And you'll be like, okay, no, no, duly noted.
yeah. One of these situations, one of my clients has been in that exact situation for quite a long time. And intuitively, I reached a point where I said to her, you need to start pushing back. You need to stop being bulldozed over, okay, and feeling badly about this. And you need to start standing your ground and pushing back. Well, she did. And you know what happened? Of course, the narcissistic coworker who wants to be everybody's boss, but she's not, started to back down. Okay,
Yeah.
because now she was being put in her place, and
Yes.
and that I think is along the lines of setting the boundaries, not letting people talk down to you, not letting people um, take your work from you or take credit from your work from you. So there's definitely either a conversation that has to take place or some type of respectful pushback.
Yes. And one of our, Rosemary, one of our listeners commented, go directly to HR, follow the procedure. You then have the abuse documented. Yes, but no. And I'm going to tell you why. So working for corporate America and working for mom and pop, things like that, businesses, a lot of times HR has to report it directly to the supervisor. I find an open door policy is more of a trap door policy.
Mhm.
Okay. So one of the things to really do is one, boundaries. Two, make them aware of how they're making you feel. Okay. If you go to HR, there are retaliation laws and things like that, but just be careful in what you do, especially a lot of times the HR and supervisors work really close together to a point where they kind of have each other's back. So remember that can always backfire. And I've seen it firsthand happen. Okay.
I think that's
Um,
a great point, Richard, because
yeah.
also the person who you want to complain about to HR, you do have to be careful. What if that's the nephew or the niece of the big boss?
No, I had that happen.
Then
Yeah.
then what then what do you do, right? You got to be you do it's yes, go to HR, but be a little bit careful.
Yeah. And it backfired on me. I worked for a very high volume mom and pop business, and the daughter was the general manager, and the father was the boss, and she was horrible, very toxic. And when I said something, what happened? Well, I can tell you I'm doing something different. I
Wow.
mean, that's just case in point. And it
Yes.
wasn't, they just force you out. because they're always going to take the side. So be careful with that, set up boundaries. And if it just gets to the point where that doesn't work, go find something else. Remember, everything is a choice. And if it doesn't serve your highest and best, including the workplace, go find a job somewhere else where you can be appreciated and you can be and utilized, you know. So
And don't engage.
don't
Don't
engage.
engage because they're definitely going to try to trigger you. And so you have to not engage. Protect yourself energetically, right? Archangel Michael, create an energetic shield around yourself, just like that, by taking your hands just like this and around the top. It covers the heart, it covers the front of your energy, and just say, I am protected, right? And just imagine that anybody's negative energy that comes at you, that your shield pushes it right back to them or up into the universe, and it does help.
Yeah.
Self energetically shielded.
And Maribel said, my daughter went through this and it did backfire. She was forced to leave the job. Sheila, our friend Sheila, she said, HR is not your friend. Remember, the open door policy is a trapdoor policy. And I've worked for major companies, United Healthcare, from insurance companies, big Forbes, Fortune 7 companies. I mean, I've seen it firsthand, and I was in upper management. So I know firsthand what it entails. It's never your friend. Now, one of our listeners, Susan, to your question, Pauline, from your friends, this is going to segue right into having a narcissistic child. I believe my only daughter was a narcissist, no longer have anything to do with her for 5 years, can no longer can see a little. Boys called my grandson. Then I said no to abusing my credit card, tired of hearing I was F. We'll let our imaginations run wild. Basically, it was not healthy. The counseling, I no longer consider her my daughter any longer, agreed. So basically, she doesn't have the grandson. She had to cut ties with that, cut ties with the daughter. It was very toxic and very abusive, mentally and emotionally, things like that. So what to do? And she went through counseling and had to walk away. What do you think, Pauline? Because I've experienced this firsthand. Me being the child and the parent walking away, I've helped many people in this exact situation. Do you want to go first? Do you want me? What would you like?
So,
Because
okay, so I'll just say a couple of things. So I think if you're the child and you grow up, and you walk away from your parents,
yes,
or parent because of the narcissistic abuse. In some ways, I think that is easier than a parent who needs to walk away from a narcissistic child, just because of the parent role is to protect, the parent role is to teach, the parent role is to love. And so it is, I think it's harder for that. And so, what does a normal, loving, empathic mother, because this is my client, she's an empath, okay, and she's a lovely woman, and she's got 3 children, but one of them is a flat out narcissist, making her feel guilty all the time. And, oh, you didn't have me for the holidays, but you had everybody else. So, I could develop cancer and die, and then that would be on your conscience. And this is the stuff that goes on from the child to the parent. And sometimes it just eats away at her. But what she is learning to do is she is learning that she can't fix this child, that this child is here and needs therapy and needs help. Don't know if it will do anything, but that her lesson is not to sacrifice herself for this individual. Because if she allows that to happen, she's going to go down and become very sick. And so you do need to cut ties. So too, I think it's Susan, you said. So if she had to cut ties with one of her children, then I want to say good for you. Not easy to do, but good for you.
It's hard because you want to, you go through the gamut of emotions, feeling guilty, feeling like, did you do something? But just know once you've exhausted, it seems like every resource or everything that you can do for them, and they still continue to be in that toxic relationship, you do have to create boundaries. At some point, for me being the child walking away from the parent, it was a matter of um, enough's enough. The person brought more detriment than good, more negative than good. And it was not healthy on many levels. So walking away was my only means to survive. And you can take that in both, you can flip that too, because a lot of times the kids, they'll try to utilize you or try to take advantage of you, whether it's your home,
Yes.
they don't want to work. They financial. You become their emotional or verbal punching bag. They can control you. They trigger you or guilt you, and that's how they keep you in. So if you just take how to cut ties with a narcissist, right? Boundaries, right? Start working on you, getting some therapy if need be, or, spiritual counseling, whatever that looks like. Start empowering yourself and know that this is nothing you're going to be able to fix. Know that you also didn't create this. They're going to make you the bad person. Okay. And when you try to leave, they're going to say, you're a bad mom. How can you walk away from your child? Or you're a bad father. How can you abandon me? It's not about abandoning. It's about self-preservation, because they are going to take you down as fast as you let them. And at some point, you have to know, I didn't do anything to change this. Now, I walked away for 21 years and I did the work myself. And when that person came back, they were supposedly on their deathbed, the roles changed. And now they walk on eggshells around me because I've empowered myself and they know I can cut that cord at any moment.
All right. So just for a moment, let's say you're a parent and you notice the some narcissistic tendencies in your 5-year-old, okay, in a young child. And some of those can be tantrums and hitting and screaming to get their way, and not being able to play with other children or bullying other children, okay, at a young age. That's when you get the child some help, like immediately.
Get the child some help, but also take a look. Is there anything in their environment,
Well,
or
yes.
are they interacting with anybody that is either promoting, nurturing, or establishing that type of behavior?
Yes. Yes, because sometimes
Who's
it really is
enabling?
learned. Yes, yes, absolutely. The parents do have to look at themselves to see maybe what they're doing to contributing it. Not that you've done anything bad. Maybe you've been too nice. Maybe you haven't disciplined enough, and this child thinks it's just entitled. So I love that, Richard. And yes, there absolutely is a reflection to the parents to just see, are we doing anything that might be encouraging this behavior?
And that's also one of the big things too. People say, well, the mom and the dad are not narcissists, but yet the child is turning into one. What is going on? Well, is the child, like you said, entitled? Do you put them on a pedestal? Do you
Mhm.
give them all of those things without having, boundaries or having guidelines? Do you just, you spoil them too much? I was an only child. My mom put me on a pedestal. But again, one of the things, she also kept me very humble. You know, trust me, she whipped out the wooden spoon faster than you could ever realize. Half of a rainforest or woods are gone because of the wooden spoons that I've so that's an Italian thing, with the wooden spoon. Anyway, but watch how you're treating the child. If you're making them feel like they walk on water, then you're enabling that behavior. You
Yeah.
need to kind of have healthy love, realistic expectations in their life, not the grandiose experience, things like that. Oh, you're amazing. You're so unbelievable. Well, their head becomes inflated, and then they start walking around with that grandiose attitude, and they're going to project it onto others. That's where the bullying comes in. You're not as good as me, maybe mentally, verbally. They feel like they want to dominate somebody. Boys especially, they'll start beating people up or pushing them. Girls, they'll be mean or catty. Start looking at this, but sit with it and say, where is it coming from? Because where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay.
Well, and the narcissistic child in that way will try to get away with everything that it can. So discipline. Got it. Now, if you've got empathic, gentle, nice parents, it's hard for them to discipline. It's hard for them, but that's the lesson.
Yes, that is the lesson. And I think, and then parents feel guilty.
Yes.
And it's not about that. What it's about is changing the behavior immediately.
Yes, as early as possible.
As early as possible, because you're only creating the monster.
Yes.
Right? So look at where it's coming from. Understand is the key to unlock any problem. Okay. Yeah. Understand where is it coming. And that may mean looking in the mirror and saying, I created this.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to be a good mom or a good father or a good parent.
Right. And if that isn't the case, just also keep in mind that just disease patterns, sometimes skip a generation. And so narcissism can be in the ancestry. It can be in a grandparent, not the parents, but it can be in the grandparents. So it can also come in, genetically.
And look at maybe the grandparents created, or when they go to stay with them, or it could be another relative, it could be a sibling, especially when you pit siblings against each other. You're not as good as your brother, or why don't you do this? And what starts to happen is that you start that competition. And that's actually a very big sign when a child's overly competitive. So maybe you are, right? If they're overly competitive, that actually starts that kind of like domino effect too.
Yeah. Well, my point was it could just be genetic. In other words, it's just the child is born with it because it's in the ancestry.
Yes, it could be there. And I've heard some other doctors kind of say that it's environmental, where kids are not. I have the belief that it can be born, or like you said, in the DNA. And then it's kind of exacerbated through or accelerated through environmental. So it can take many forms, but identify what it is and try to get a handle on it, and look at what you're doing. And if that means creating boundaries and not spoiling or deflating the entitlement, balloon, you may have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough love. Marivelle said tough love. Yeah. And sometimes that's what it is. And it's not that you don't love them. You love them so much, you're looking out for them.
Yes. And it's needed.
That's big stuff.
Yes, with the upcoming holidays, what advice do we have for people who will be sitting and breaking bread and having holiday dinners with family members or extended family members who are going to trigger be the narcissist and trigger the wound?
Well, I can tell you, I've experienced this, and I will tell, and that's just being transparent. So here's some signs of what that looks like. They will switch plans on you last minute or invite you last minute. They
Mhm.
make you conform to what they want, not taking your feelings and emotions into consideration. They kind of take things out or get everybody to kind of come at you a certain way. You're now the bad guy, or you ruined the holiday, things like that. So remember this one big thing. Get rid of the idea of everybody needs to be like, oh, it's Christmas or it's Thanksgiving. Nobody should be alone. That's not true. Okay. I've spent many, probably too many holidays by myself. And I've seen friends. I've gone out to a restaurant and made friends. I've talked to the waitress and the staff, and I had a great time.
Mhm.
It's called self-preservation. So the myth of nobody should spend the holiday by themselves, I will tell you, is not true.
I love
I've
that.
literally had Chinese food on Christmas and watched movies all day and enjoyed myself because I had peace of mind and
Yeah.
no drama,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Because if you're going to be with family or extended family or in-laws, and there is that narcissistic person, uh, they want, this is like a perfect audience for drama, right?
Yeah,
This is a perfect environment for drama and to get people all pissed off and upset and yeah, you don't engage, you protect yourself. Stay,
yeah.
you stay in your center, and you know what? You can leave early. You don't have to stay all day. And I'm with you, Richard, in terms of if you have to spend it alone, I've done it too. And I had a great time with me, myself, and I and my cats. And I had a great day. And the peace of mind, okay, for that day was worth it. And
I
so
think people,
sometimes we have to be able to go it alone like that
yeah,
and know that it's okay.
yeah. I think people say, well, I have to go. It's the holidays. It's my family. And then what happens is you get raked over the coals emotionally, mentally, and it really kind of messes you up. So here's what I'm going to say. Okay. Boundaries. It is okay to say, I'm going to stay home. Okay. I'm choosing not to participate, or I'm going to leave early, or I'm going to show up right when maybe the food is ready or they're opening gifts, whatever it is. And know that you also you can leave at any point.
Yes.
Most people do not give give themselves that option. They
Permission.
feel guilty.
Yes. Yes. They feel bad. It's not appropriate. Listen, my ex-husband was the best at that. You couldn't get him to do anything he didn't want to do, holiday or not a holiday. Okay?
That's
If
me.
you didn't want to go, that was it. And I learned from him. I learned from him not to feel so obligated.
Well, if you do go, and that's first of all, that's me. I don't do anything I do not want to do. And that's kind of like that's who I am. I'm very authentic to myself. I'm respectful to myself because at the end of the day, they're sitting back and they had a great time. I am not doing damage control on the way home.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if you do choose to go,
Hmm.
here's what to look for. One, they will bait you every step of the way. They may give you little digs or, oh, you didn't bring the apple pie. You bring, say, pumpkin pie. And, oh, you didn't go to this one bakery or bring it from here. Yeah, I guess, well, this will have to do. They'll minimize your efforts. Remember, you can do it all, and they'll still find something wrong in what you do. That's just the way they operate. So they're going to try to trigger you, or they're going to try to start a confrontation or an argument, especially if they're stressed. They're looking someplace to put these emotions and
Hmm.
funnel it. So
Yeah.
when they're angry because they're having a rough day or they're feeling something, they're looking at a target to place it. Don't take the bait.
And,
Don't take the bait.
and emotions are very high right now, given the astrological and the energetic environment that we are transitioning from and to. And so the emotions are heightened right now, just because many people are going through transformation, right? Just to go back to come full circle to universally speaking and what we were speaking about in the beginning of the show. So this really be aware, stay in your center. Don't engage. Don't let yourself get triggered. I don't get up and walk away from the table, go outside for a bit and shift the energy. So, it could absolutely be a heightened holiday season.
Well, and here's the one thing. I just went through this Sunday. Okay. It was a different, it was a delayed Thanksgiving, if you will. And this person tried to bait me every which way to start an argument. And I was bobbing and weaving. I was like Muhammad Ali back in the day, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right? And I'm bobbing and weaving and doing all this. And I didn't give them what they were looking for.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I also knew exactly what was happening. I knew that they were looking to dump their stuff, their anger and frustration on me. And I didn't give them that opportunity, which probably made them even a little bit more pissed.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have to take it. It's
Right.
not my stuff.
Right.
Remember that. You
Right.
do not have to take any of it. If it doesn't work for you, don't take it. We throw garbage out. We don't bring it in our house. End of story, right? We flush the toilet. We don't let it sit there. Get rid of it. And I'm sorry to be graphic, but it's that simple. You have a choice. Boundaries and being authentic to yourself is like, sunlight and garlic to a vampire. That's how it is for a narcissist. Being authentic and boundaries. Those are the two ways to really hold self-preservation. And I didn't let them trigger me. And I had my own experience. And when I got home, I had to realize and not take it personal. Did it piss me off? I was in that situation. Yes. But then you let it go and you move on. It's not your stuff.
Right. And their energy, their intention is to put their energy into your field.
100%.
And so when you walk away or it's the end of the day and you're still feeling residual feelings from that person, know that you have their energy in your field and you have got to clear that. And I know I have said this on the show before, but one of the things you really can do is you can, get yourself a little bit into a meditative state. Doesn't have to be a professional whatever. Get yourself into a very calm meditative state. Do some breath work. Okay, do some breath work, breathing in and out, and say, I release all energy that does not belong to me. I release all energy that does not belong to me. And if you just slowly repeat that and stay in that, I promise you, you will feel a shift. It's almost like you are commanding their energy out of your field.
Exactly. And if you can't say that, just say, not today, Satan. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, and going into Maribel. So one of the points Maribel said was, if you're tired of arguing with them, don't show up. Excuse yourself from the event. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. You do not have to participate.
Yeah.
Realize that. I've spent many, many holidays and recent holidays alone because I'm not engaging with toxic mindsets, beliefs, right? Narcissism, and they're all narcissists. So I don't have to engage because guess what? I know I'm going into the lion's den. I know I'm going to be the bad person. I know things are going to be my fault. And whether a lot of people are dealing with this, and it started back in the pandemic, where you fell on a fence or politics or beliefs, right? Religious, whatever it is, you don't have to participate. It's called self-preservation. And at the end, they sleep well at night. You don't.
Right.
They have a great time. You don't.
Clear your energy field. Clear them out. Pull out their cords. Okay. Clear your energy field. That's it.
Where is he? And if you need, visualize YouTube has a great Archangel Michael, meditation, cutting cords. Let that shit go, man. Let it go. Get rid of it. The movie Elsa, let it go, let it go. You carry it, shame on you, because you're just perpetuating and feeding into the agenda. You are the stake to the lion. And the hooks get deeper and deeper. So for the holidays, first thing, you can spend it by yourself or with friends or family that is, that you feel good about, or talk to them, have a Zoom conference, have a Zoom call or FaceTime, whatever it is, right? You don't have to go somewhere. That is a total myth. That is, people guilting you. Again, create your own experience, have a good time, navigate the holidays. Life's short, empower yourself.
And if you do go, protect yourself, stay in your center. You don't have to engage. You can push back, and there's many different ways to handle that.
Yes, yes. So everyone, for the upcoming next week, we have a special show at a special time. We have a special guest, I'm going to tell it, Dr. Pina's coming back. She was featured on Dr. Oz. She's been on many publications. We had her a few months ago.
Yes.
Amazing, holistic doctor, practitioner on Long Island. She will be back. We will be here next Thursday at 12:30.
Yes.
So tune in. We have a different time next week. I will post it with Dr. Pina, and we're going to be talking about how to have a healthy and happy New Year's, holidays coming up, and what to do to change your body, mind, spirit. We can do differently for the upcoming year. So call in with your questions or leave comments. Also, leave some hearts if you are dealing for the holidays with a narcissistic family. If you can relate, leave a heart in the comments,
we'll
because
send you
guess
lots
what?
of energy.
So we can all be in it together.
Yeah.
So leave your
great.
comments in the comments, leave a heart if you have to deal with a narcissistic family for the holidays.
That's great.
All right, everyone. So Pauline, what do you have going on through the end of the year?
I have a big online event, Sunday, December 29th at 12 p.m. If anybody's interested, this is all about shifting timelines. It's going to be a huge energy upgrade. And whenever I do these online, people shift sometimes 1 or 2 rungs up the ladder. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me through my website, paulinerafaela.com. You do have to log in and send me an email and that you are interested, and I will send you the invite.
Excellent.
It's
Excellent.
it's only $35, and it is it's a powerful, it's the year-end New Year event that I hold every year.
Nice. I love that. Escalating, getting up a couple of rings. I may have to partake in that. I love that.
You are welcome.
Excellent. So this Sunday, I will be at the historic Wilbur Tapestry Hilton Hotel in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, doing probably a final gallery there for a very long time. Taking a little bit of time off after the first of the year. So if you are interested, please sign up. You can go to richardlarocco.com or Hurting to Healing Coaching under the events. It will also be myself and Misty Summers. She's a psychic medium and paranormal investigator and just an amazing person with great energy. So Misty will be there with me. We will be doing this event. It is unbelievable. If you haven't been there, it is a great, great venue, and it smells like milk chocolate. It is unbelievable. So go on. Limited seating. There's only a few tickets left. So please sign up if you haven't. And then actually look for more things to come, on my website. Keep it simple. Yeah.
Yes. Love, Misty. Have a great event.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see everybody next week with some holiday tips on staying healthy during the holidays with Dr.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great week. Stay warm.
Yes. Much love, everyone.